What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Physique Factory Podcast. And today we have a guest, and that's him. So, do you want to start by just telling us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and your experience with bodybuilding?
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me on. So what was the questions? Introduce myself, right?
Who are you?
So who am I? So my full name, Hymsuen Liu, and I guess competitive powerlifter before, and now competitive bodybuilder. So I spent probably about 5 years, 6 years maybe competing in powerlifting, and then now transitioned into bodybuilding, I guess the last kind of 5 years. And also was a personal trainer, but now changed to online coach like everybody else has.
And the next move is transitioning into a woman, right?
Yeah, that and or fitness business coaching.
That's it.
Right?
The business mentor things are next.
Yeah, that's it.
He's got to get about 5 DMs off those today.
Yeah, that's it.
But what were your numbers, him, when you were powerlifting?
So I used to compete, and this was as a junior. So I think my best was under 75 kilos. I did a 255 squat, 155 bench, and 282 deadlift. This is all kilo.
They're big numbers.
Yeah, that's good.
That was a while back. I think that was the last time I competed was 2015 for powerlifting. I haven't done one since, so I don't know. Could call me retired.
I never know. I thought I was a strong deadlifter, but fuck me, now I've been put right in my place.
Yeah, I think my best. I did do a strongman competition. It was like last man standing. I kind of just did that, like a random show. I just kind of turned up. It was at the gym that I was working at, and I remember I was doing clients like upstairs, and then I finished doing that, and I just joined in. I pulled 320. That was my best deadlift.
Fuck me, that's good. That's strong.
Yeah, that's my best.
I remember when we trained last year at Third Space after RTS, and we got in a hack squat. I think you did like 6 plates on the Cybex with no band. I was like, fucking hell.
I did 7. I did 7. That's the first time I did. I only did like 4 reps, and then absolutely got squashed.
Wow, yeah, that's strong. That,
what
especially on that
James?
as well. I have no idea.
2.
No idea. Probably about like 4 or 5 with a band.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I was struggling with 3. I can't remember, but I did use it, like, and it was it wasn't 7 plates aside anyway.
It's fucking heavy, that hack squat.
That's what I'm good at, though. I'm a good squatter. Like, if you put me in the leg press, ain't happening, man. I can't leg press. Everyone says it's the other way around. Like, they're like, you can leg press, and yeah, but can you squat this? I can squat that, but I can't leg press.
Most people, it's like that, isn't it? But I think you fold up really well, don't you?
Yeah, that's it, right? But I don't know, leg press just not really good at it. I do a little bit now, actually. The Matrix one, actually, funny enough.
Where are you training at now?
I was just training at it's called Kiss Gym. Shout out Kiss Gym. But basically, it's like a gym group or a pure gym, that kind of thing. All Matrix equipment. Funny enough, they have a Texas deadlift bar in there for whatever reason, and
people that by mistake.
Yeah, people don't know what it is. I see people rack pulling with it. I saw some guy like just slamming it. Some people squatting with it. Crazy. I couldn't imagine squatting with like a bendy bar, but yeah, that's the kind of gym that I'm in.
So how are you finding training with that equipment? Obviously, you've been through like the whole RTS thing and that, and you become a little bit of a equipment snob when you get into that stuff, don't you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think, one of the reasons why I kind of joined there was, a lot of the clients that I have, most of them are probably training at gyms like that. So I feel like, to really understand the equipment, like you kind of do need to use it as well. Like we can, bitch and moan about the equipment as much as we like, but if we're not using it, it's hard to really give our opinion and to give people the right things and adjustments for those machines as well, right? So it definitely has humbled me and has taught me a lot about which equipment potentially are good, what can we adjust, and yeah, it's just helped my learning overall. And there's a big part of it is, I want to be in a position where I can say, look, I stepped on stage, I've done my whole off season in like a gym group, and you can train anywhere as long as you understand like exercise mechanics and how to train. Ultimately, it's not really about the equipment.
Absolutely.
That's why I think like you can go into being a snob about equipment, but then when you're training when you haven't really got anything, when you're in a pure gym or a gym group, and then making the most out of it and applying all the stuff like we learned from RTS to it, like adapting like cams on machines and the setups and stuff, that's where it really comes out the most.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I was talking to Daryl today about it, and I think a lot of us, who do RTS, we do get a little bit lost and almost fixated on all the stuff that we learn about resistance profiles and whatnot, and we do try to make this set the perfect set within that one set, and a lot of times it doesn't necessarily have to be like that. But we drift away, and we feel like, oh, I have to make this set perfect, and it's just understanding the exercise, understanding that actually, yeah, even if I don't work or train the shortened position today or tomorrow or even this whole month, that's okay, as long as at some point I do train that shortened position. And it could be this whole cycle I'm not actually training that position, and then maybe next cycle I do it, and that's perfectly fine as well.
Yeah, it's creating that full range challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't have to. That full range challenge doesn't have to be every single mesocycle either. This is so open to everything, and I think just training at this KISS gym has really opened my mind to just training in different environments and thinking outside the box as such.
That's really cool. That
kind of just echoing what you guys already said, but like, having the ability to turn that like shit bit of equipment into something that is slightly better, or even just making sure it's not injuring your clients. That's what makes a good coach. That's what this is all for, really, isn't it? It's not so much so everything can be picture perfect. It's like having the ability to adjust. I always think back to like the lockdown, because I'd never got into this like RTS stuff pre-lockdown, but I've seen videos of you, him, and some of the stuff that you had set up during the lockdown, and I was like, fuck, I wish I knew about this during the lockdown. It would have made my life so much easier.
Yeah, lockdown. Yeah, I think about lockdown as well a lot, because at the same time, we'll have all these excuses as to why we can't train, or this is difficult or whatever. But at the same time, it's like loads of people made progress during lockdown. I certainly did myself. I did a year off season for my last contest prep, and I think I spent about 6 months in it in lockdown, and I definitely made some good progress in there. And sometimes now we're back into the environment of we can go to different gym equipments, different gyms, we can get like back to that mindset. But then you got to think back what happened during lockdown. Like, we made the most of the stuff that we have in front of us. So that's something that we have to still keep in mind now. It's difficult, right, with all these fancy equipment going on, to not get distracted by it.
That's it. Was it like a leg extension you was doing in your garden? I think I saw the video that Integra reposted.
Oh yeah, that was actually something that I saw James do, actually. So he did like this. It was like we did it at RTS, actually. We were fixing up the cable with the leg extension,
Yeah.
And doing it in a face down lying position. And I didn't have enough load with the band, so I actually attached the daisy chain over my shoulder and did like a manual resistance kind of thing, which that worked pretty well.
Bicep pump as well.
Yeah, little bicep pumps. So anything to get more arms right. That's the only thing that matters.
Yeah. I mean, the goal of that exercise actually was to be a bicep exercise. It wasn't anything to do with the quads. But yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, if I could go back now, like back at that point, I remember doing a wall sit, and I was like, this is an ab exercise. That's what I'm working here. That's what was going on in my head back then. So like, yeah, a few things have changed since then. Obviously, I've learned about friction and how that shit works. But did I not see a video of you as well? Did you have like a hack squat against like a fridge or something? Is that you?
Yeah, that was a don, man. That, I tell you what, I looked back on my Instagram the other day, and it's up there. And I was just thinking, those are some of the most brutal sets I've ever done for legs. Like, I remember the leg day would come, and every time I've never not wanted to do legs so much in my life. Because the program
James every week.
It was it was the front foot split squat, and that fridge hack squat thing, and I had 2 bands around my neck. At some point, the bands were like, there was so much friction and tension, it would like pull against my skin. So I put like, the squat pad there. And I had these like massive, like 55 kilo dumbbells. And they're just like hanging all over the place, leaning against the fridge. It wasn't very comfortable, but you make do, right?
I hope Prime aren't listening to this. I hope you've patented the fridge hack squat, or they'll be making their own version of that soon.
We had to throw away the fridge. Oh, it was a broken fridge anyway. But by the end of lockdown, you could see because I had these metal dumbbells, and they were like scraping against the fridge door.
Why the fridge though?
It was the only thing that was there available to and because the fridge had this I don't know, it was like chrome. It was like super smooth. So I didn't need to put a foam roll on my back to slide up and down. So it was kind of like the friction there. So it was nice. So it felt like it was a really smooth Smith machine, basically.
So what brand of fridge do you recommend for that, Him?
It was actually, I think it was Hot Point, I believe. Shout out to Hot Point if they want to start and whatnot.
Don't dare use a Bako. Put that down there with Matrix. But yeah, I mean, we've all come a long way since then. But it just shows you how much we actually love this shit training, that people went through stuff like that to actually train. It's fucking mental, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that was really useful lockdown. I think everyone needed it to just take that step back. And maybe we need it again, but
Don't say that.
we all just went to a point where there was a lot of posts about resistance profiles, doing this, this machine, that machine, and lockdown came and it was like all you got is some resistant bands, your body weight, and maybe a set of dumbbells or barbell if you're really lucky. I had the Reebok step, which was adjustable into a bench. That held up for the whole lockdown, and that went up. That shot up to like 250 pounds. It's absolutely
the price of equipment over lockdown was fucking ridiculous.
God, and people are stuck with the equipment now that they've overpaid for, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't get that money back now, that's for sure. I bought like a barbell and some plates and things like that during the second one, but during the first one, I actually had somewhere to train, so I couldn't complain. It wasn't like a lot of equipment, but I certainly had somewhere I could use. But I done a lot of barbell based training, and same as you, Him. Like I actually started a competition prep during the lockdown, which was a fucking stupid idea, but still some great training days back then, because you could literally just live like a bodybuilder. It's like everything revolves around training that day, and that's it.
Just focusing on that, wasn't it? There's nothing else to focus on. You don't need to focus on work. I was still working most of the time over lockdown, and nearly got arrested 3 times because they kept the gym open. And I remember it was it was the second one, so it was in December, and we had the lights turned off in the gym, and it was 6 in the morning. It was totally dark. I was going around with the torch and our phones, looking at the machines, what weight to put it on and everything, trading clients. It was fucking insane.
Did you see all the stuff in Liverpool when was it Nathan D'Asher left his gym open?
Oh yeah.
People were legging it. They were because the police would come close it down, right? And then he would open up the back and be like, fucking everyone run, and people would run in, all sorts of stuff. Fucking mental, man.
Yeah, the police
train, just a fucking train. That. There's people fucking killing, shooting, whatever, right? These guys just getting gym training during lockdown, and it's fucking police chasing after you. Imagine that.
It's ridiculous.
Getting arrested for doing your job, James.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Nearly, because there's police coming in the back door and the front door, and was literally just stood there in the dark in silence with 10 clients in the gym as well. So they stayed there 3 hours. Without
naming them, it's quite a established gym in your area as well, isn't it?
Yeah, Manchester is probably one of the biggest gyms in Manchester.
Yeah.
So when did you guys open up Physique Factory then?
It's a good question.
December 2021.
Okay, so it's after lockdown then.
Yeah. So it was when was it? We went to we did Integra, the actual foundations, the first ever course of Integra. We did that in August, or we signed up in June, did the online lectures, and then we met up for the 2 or 3 day course in August, and then that December we just set up Physique Factory.
It's actually your idea, James, wasn't it? It was you that messaged me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what that message said, but it was something along the lines of, "Do you like the color yellow? Do you want to join my brand?" And that was it. And I was like, "Yeah, I fucking love yellow. Yes." It was actually orange at the time, to be
Gold.
fair. But mine used to be blue, so I had to get away from that. That represents a football team I don't like too much.
Oh, there you go. That's more enough reason. But we wasn't going to go green and white because that's just
I'm trying to edge it towards that because we went from like orange to like yellow to like the next thing's green. That's the way it's headed
the
I
hoops.
think the color scheme that you guys got is good. I like it.
for now till we get to green. Fuck that. We've spent so much money on fucking designers and websites and shit like that like
Started on them, just leave it there. Just don't even say it.
Really? Not bad.
There's a fraud case. That's
really?
all I'll
Put it
say. But yeah. We'll change the subject quickly. So him. How's your career been? Where did you start working? Did you work at UP? Am I right there?
Yeah, I guess before that, obviously I went to uni. I graduated from uni, and I got my first job at this gym called Lifestyle Fitness, which has now turned into, I think, a gym group, which was next to Wembley Stadium. So we used to get like free tickets to watch the games.
There's one of them in Ireland in a place called Ballymena where my missus is from. It's like a kind of chain version, so they must like still exist as Lifestyle
Does it still
Fitness.
exist?
Yeah,
I
they've
thought-
got it in Manchester as well.
Yeah, they were in Manchester too, but
Yeah.
I thought they were completely shut down.
Yeah, it's
don't
like
know.
a 24/7 sort of thing. Yeah.
I don't think ours was, but it was busy, man. And to be honest, that gym it wasn't a really good time for me there. Like, it gave me a really big insight into like what personal training was, because you'd have to pay rent, and I swear personal training is the only job that before the first job that you get where you lose money immediately before you actually start making money, because you have to pay rent, right? So every month, like, you've got this thing that you have to pay, and you haven't fucking even got any clients yet. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of pressure to build a business in that scenario, and I had no idea what I was doing. I just came out of uni, and I thought, I'm just going to go into this gym. I'm going to start training people, get like killer results, but I didn't know how to sell. I didn't know how to speak to people on the gym floor. I didn't have those social skills that I have now, and it was a fucking struggle. And I think within probably the first 2-3 months, the amount of times I wanted to just give up and just quit, and I was like, oh, what the hell am I going to do? Was unbelievable. And I actually applied for another job, which was not necessarily like UP based, but it was a personal training place, and I actually got turned down for that. And I just thought, fuck, I'm absolutely devastated, because I thought this would be like a way out. And then it was only until later that I got an opportunity, obviously, to work for UP, and that's kind of where my career kind of took off from there.
Every time we get onto the subject somewhere like UP, people are like, let's not talk about that too much. You're not the guy that sued, are you?
No, I don't know.
We're going to talk about a lot of things on this podcast. We can't talk about our graphic designers. We can't talk about where we worked.
To be fair, like the recent graphic designers put that out there, they weren't bad.
They did a good job when they did the job.
I had no issues personally. But yeah, so I mean, how did you find the whole UP experience? I like their kind of model, like kind of similar to M10 sort of thing. They're education based and things like that. So obviously, for your career, that's a great move, wasn't it? That's like getting signed for Man United. There you go, James.
Yeah, man. I don't know about Man United. I'm a Liverpool fan, so
if we get Qatar, then yeah, maybe.
But yeah, do you know what? The UP experience was, at the time, it was absolutely incredible. If I look back in hindsight, I would not be where I am today if I didn't have that opportunity to be there. And I think everybody who has been through that experience will probably say the same. I think, what I learned from that position, and just being able to do the job that I always wanted to do, which was just to coach people and not have to worry about selling, not having to worry about marketing, just doing your job, right? Those places like that, they're incredible to I guess, an up and coming personal trainer to learn your craft. And over those years that I was there, I learned so much. I did so many hours of PT when I was there. I was doing, at one point, I remember doing about 60 hours a week of PT. And that was, I knew that was my limit. That was really my limit. And I probably would not go back to that ever again. But it was an experience, and you have to learn that. Right?
Did you like getting up at 4:30 in the morning and getting at like 11 at night?
Because I moved to Singapore, right, to work for UP. So I didn't really have any friends, I didn't have any like family that were over there. So I was working Monday to Sunday every single week. And not that I did loads of work on a Sunday, but I would do a couple of hours for sure. Every day I was probably in the gym for like 6 a.m. kind of thing. I had an electric scooter before it was even a thing here, and I loved it, man. It'd take me like 10 minutes to get from my house to the gym, and I was just like bomb it down in this electric scooter at like 5 o'clock in the morning, get into the gym, train my clients. I remember doing like stupid things, like we did like 14 hours of PT in a day. Crazy stuff. I think back now, I'm like, I don't even know how we even did that.
See, to someone that's never been a PT, that doesn't sound like a lot. They're like, what, you were in the gym for 14 hours or something? But I don't think a lot of people realize the energy that it actually like zaps from you. Like it's not even so much like, standing there putting weights on or whatever. It's more so the mental energy of speaking to people. Like I couldn't do 14 clients in one day. No way. Fuck that. I'd be brain dead by the end of that. I'm brain dead anyway.
It's being aware as well when you're doing those sets. You're not just randomly just staring at them, looking at nothing. You're just constantly thinking, aren't you? Like, what you're missing, what's going wrong here, what can you improve, what can you progress? And then when you like keep thinking like that, there's only so long you're gonna get burnt out.
Yeah, I probably didn't know as much back then, so it was probably a bit easier. I wasn't thinking as much. But yeah, definitely. I think if I was to go back, there's no way that I could give the same amount of energy to every single client doing those many hours. But it was a learning experience, and it gives you an idea to know, okay, this is what hard work is like. This is the top out of your personal capacity. And you find out, right? You find out where you sit on that continuum. How much do you really want to work? How much that you can actually handle? And then everything else feels, kind of easy. Like if I do 30 hours of PT now on the gym floor, it's like whatever for me. I could do it any day, right? Because I've experienced 60.
Would you go back to PT in the gym floor?
I'm not sure. I do really love PT. I still think there's a huge market for it. It's pretty, like, it's a rewarding thing to be able to see people and to help them. Like sometimes when you're doing it online, you want to get a point across, and it just takes that little bit longer. Right. Versus when you're doing PT, I could just go, boom, set them up. Right. But then maybe that client doesn't learn as much through that process versus if they're self-discovering and you're guiding them through that discovery process. So I don't know. I think just in terms of long-term, like I want to have a family, I want to have kids. I want to spend time with children as well. So it then becomes one of those things where I think it is quite a difficult job to maintain, and still have a family at the same time. I don't know. But in the gym, I don't really see many, 45, 50-year-old personal trainers still doing loads of hours on the gym floor, right?
I would say if that's an aspiration of yours to have a family, then definitely online is a way, because this is only night a week. I'm here at like bedtimes, and I'm on here doing podcast sort of thing. So it's like, you kind of miss out on a lot, but at the same time, obviously with PT, you're obviously not always busy in the middle of the day. So like there's opportunities. Like I've kind of got set times where, where I'll be with Grace and things like that. But I'd say it's not the best. And if I could turn back the clock now and start everything online, having known that it was like this, I probably would have. But I like the one-to-one side of things as well, because sometimes you sit here like today, sit here and do check-ins, and I've not really spoke to anyone until like an hour ago. Like, not actually physically spoke to anyone.
Sort of.
What's that?
In person, sort of.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I mean, I spoke to my missus when she came in, but you know what I mean. But yeah, no, definitely.
There's pros and cons. I think there's pros and cons, and I think some people are doing, there's a lot of hybrid models now. So people do like a little bit of PT. Maybe they can afford to do a lot less hours and then do, a chunk of online as well. I think maybe that could be a best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Then you're not kind of throwing all your eggs into, one basket as such.
I think the hybrid model, I've actually done it. I've got quite a few clients on a hybrid model, and I think it works very well, actually, because you are getting, again, covering that stuff in person. And as you say, you can cover it a hell of a lot quicker, and then they go away and apply it themselves. So I think it is, for a lot of people, it's a good model, but it depends on the client. Like if you've got a client that's brand new to training, then, taking them in the gym is going to be the easiest way to get them started.
Yeah. Sometimes online, it allows you to coach maybe some people that would potentially never be getting any coaching, right? So you might have, let's say if your model is to coach some personal trainers, right? You're not going to be personally trained, like you're not training them in the gym. They know how to train. They just want a little bit of additional accountability, additional support, program design, those kind of things. And they may potentially be people that you would never be able to coach unless you did online coaching. And I think really the model is perfect for them. But a lot of, I guess now it's a lot of beginners who've never stepped foot in the gym. They do a lot of online coaching. And I think if we go back 10 years ago when I first started doing personal training, that model just didn't work for those people. And now it's kind of been adapted a little bit better to that. But I would still say, a good personal trainer would still be better in that scenario.
Yeah, you need experience of what you're doing in the gym, don't you? If you're coaching like a total beginner and they don't have a clue how to perform the movements, even though you might have like a massive exercise library, we ask them to like send videos over, but they just look nothing like what they should, and it's so hard to get it across to a beginner.
Yeah, and again, I guess the context is it depends on what that person wants. If they just want to lose a little bit of stomach fat, that's probably cool. But if they really do have some massive physique aspirations, I think that then becomes very, very different, right?
Yeah. Something we talked about is getting like client meetups and things like that as well, where we can cover a lot of ground and like basically like kind of take them through what we need to take them through. So that's something we're definitely looking to do, especially for the online side of things, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it depends again, like largely on the client, what's going to be best for them. I had something to bring up there and I forgot all about it.
Location as well, right? Because then I've got a lot of clients that are in Asia as well, right? So it's quite difficult to do that. So you might do a client meetup, which is in the UK, but it's like, unless I fly out there and do a massive client meetup in Asia, and then even if I did that, not everybody is in like Hong Kong or in Singapore. They may be scattered, some people in Malaysia, whatever. And it's not like that convenient to meet up. So, you've got limitations there as well.
Depends how dedicated they are to you.
Yeah,
one of these things like a cult like kind of behavior. It's like, well, him says go here, we'll go here. Him says drink this magic juice, we'll drink the magic juice.
That's how you make money.
But so let's kind of skip forward a little bit. So you obviously get some amazing results. Like I've seen your results all over your page. Talk to us a bit about that. What are the challenges you face with your clients and how do you overcome them? Very broad question.
I think the challenges are no different to anybody else's challenges with their clients, right? Most people have, whether you're intermediate, whether you're a beginner, whether you're advanced, most people have very similar like lifestyle difficulties, and a lot of it comes down to your social occasions, and I think really how to kind of overcome that is just having massive communication with your clients. I think a big part of coaching isn't really necessarily all down to the knowledge that you're giving that individual, but more so the lifestyle tools to handle that knowledge and how to apply it. And I think that's been the biggest changes to my coaching, which has allowed me to get exceptional results.
How does your model work? Because a lot of people, like, I don't know about you guys, but I've jumped on a few calls with people who are potentially looking at coaching, and they're like, so do you like come on Zoom and do the workouts with me? I'm like, no, that's not what this is. So what does your kind of model look like? Do you do like kind of loom feedback sort of thing? I mean, how does it all work?
Yeah, so I do a mixture of different things. It just really, it really depends on what that client needs in that scenario. So most of the time, yeah, I'll do like a Loom for feedback. But then outside of that, during the week, I'm still talking to them. That may be WhatsApp support. We may be sending over, some very nice voice notes to each other. There may be, some memes involved, some pictures, screenshots of videos, explanations. It's, I guess you could say, yeah, the feedback generally is done like once a week. The main feedback is done via Loom, but ultimately all you're trying to do in this feedback is trying to get information across to that client. So however or whatever way that client can take in the information the best, that is the best way to give it to them. You could do Loom all day and you could give the best I don't know video on Loom to them, but maybe they're really busy and they can't be fucked to watch it, then they're never going to see your check-in feedback, right? So that in that instance, maybe just ask them, say, hey, is it better for me to just send you a WhatsApp voice note? And as long as you're getting the information across, as long as you're providing value, that's the main thing, right?
We operate quite a similar kind of model, really, to that. Like a few of the check-ins I'd done today, I was like kind of on them, and I was like, there's not too much to talk about because I've been talking to you that much anyway. But there's not really anything to like make your life easier. If the communication is kept up in between check-ins become easy.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
What we've got in our form, like pretty much what you just said, at the end of it, we've got like an option, say if you want a Loom or if you want like WhatsApp feedback, with a voice note or like that. So whatever the client prefers, because like literally, like you said, they can't be asked like sitting down watching a Loom for that long. So it depends on who that client is, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's it, right? Each person is very different. If you get somebody who's really into like watching Loom and they see the value of it, then yeah, maybe do that. But I think really it's how you give that information to them. Like the information is the most important.
Yeah. So difficult clients, for example, if you get someone who the communication isn't there and you don't know they're doing what they should be doing or they're tracking what they should be tracking, how do you go about that?
This is tricky, man. I think I don't really have a one way to go about it. I'll try fucking loads of different shit just to see if I can, get them to do what I need them to do. Like I'll poke them, I'll fucking, message them on WhatsApp constantly to see, what's kind of going on. And then if I feel like that's not really working, I might just, sporadically call them,
Yeah.
A crazy thing, right? To do in the modern era to actually ring someone up. But yeah, I might actually ring them or see, how I can actually help them. Communication is key, or I might even meet them up, go for a walk, things like that if they're local, and just to talk. And sometimes, they're just in their head a little bit. They might try to avoid check-ins because I always see it as, and one of my clients, we spoke about this before, the check-ins are a bit like, when people go to church and they go into those booths where it's like the sin. You have to, yeah, you got to confess all your sins, right? And people don't want to be there, right? Because they have to own up and take ownership of everything, and that can be really scary. But then, if you just speak to them on the phone, maybe it's less scary. And just trying to find ways that help them to get to where they need or where you kind of want them to be or where they want to eventually be. I guess the job as a coach, you can't be you want to have systems to make things scalable, right? But I personally feel like at the same time, like my goal is to get results. So however way that I can do that, I'm gonna try my best to do it. I might think of something out of the blue and be like, I want to do this to this guy. see what happens,
We actually take all our clients' addresses when they first sign up, and if they're not doing check-ins, we just go around the door. Just me and Dave.
I do take my clients' addresses as well. Not for that reason.
I was kidding, well, maybe not. Depends. Someone doesn't check in.
Imagine that though. Imagine you turned up to see what they're like. Oh,
me and James both in our vests.
Yeah, what the fuck are you up to? I've not heard from you.
Let us see your cupboards. What food you got in there?
Yeah, but I think it's I guess that comes down to just going above and beyond, right? To try to help get the result for your client.
That really is above and beyond. But I mean, what other coaches are going around to clients' doors? I mean, yeah,
breaking in.
Smash.
That'll be scary. Have you seen that guy? There's a video that was out ages ago, and there's one guy who was eating like a burger or something in, I don't know, some American place, and there's a guy, he's like massive, he just runs through, he's like, what are you doing?
Oh, that's
it's a burger out of his hand.
That's Arms Corleone.
Is it? I don't know.
That's what he calls himself. He's from London, that guy. The guy I'm thinking about. Quite a big guy.
I know the guy you're talking about. No, I don't think it was him that was doing the video.
He does loads of videos like that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It was that Blessing. I think he did it.
I think he did a version of it, but the original one was not from him.
But it was serious.
But I don't think it was serious, but it's quite funny. I think he actually kicked it out of his hand. It's just gone flying. It's
kicked to it.
Funny.
Whatever gets results at the end of the day. I mean, the client's paying for a result, so I mean, whatever gets them that.
Yeah. Did you ever watch? I think Ian Wright did one where he was trying to help kids, overweight children or something like that, and it was kind of like, those that type of video, like Super Size Me, that kind of style, right? Oh, yeah. And there was one kid where they were trying to get him to lose weight, and he wasn't really losing weight, so they just got like spy cams and they just followed him around, and he was going into like corner shops and buying Pringles and whatnot, and they had that on film, right? And then they kind of approached him. I think it was Ian Wright approached him and said, "Look, man, what are you doing? Like, you're not really sticking to the nutrition plan and whatnot." And he was like, "Nah, man, I did." And they're like, and they showed him the video. And then, do you know what he said? He goes, "Nah, that's not me."
Imagine,
like, "Nah, that's not me."
Imagine you could actually see what your clients are doing, though. Like, how many of them lie to us? Like, we know people lie. Like, but imagine actually seeing the truth of it. I'd love to just see like some sort of cam for the day. Like, what are they actually doing in a day? Like, it'd be interesting.
I had a one-to-one client, and she literally lost no weight when she worked with me. She worked for me like a year, and she was a nice person. She still comes to the sessions. She made progress in the gym, but like the overall goal was to lose weight, which she didn't. But she just really enjoyed coming to the gym, and like we made a connection, all that sort of stuff. And it was good training. I look forward to the sessions, but I just knew she was lying to me. I was like, "Oh, I'm sticking to my diet. It's just me, it's just my body. I just can't lose weight." And I was like, "Right, I'll let you have that one." I was like, I promise, I'm just sticking to that. I just don't know why I'm not losing weight. And then one of the PTs, he went over to the shop, and they saw in there like big pizzas and a big cream cake on top of it. They were at the checkout, and I was like,
"It's not exactly far away."
I think I might have locked my missus out the door.
The shop's not exactly far away from your gym, though, is it, James? It's like, it's not as if, like, see, if I was your client, I wouldn't be shopping across the road from the gym.
Yeah, exactly, because you just gotta.
I left the gym one night, and it's a small town. I say, like, the size of Whitworth, sort of thing, maybe slightly bigger to be fair, but like, and I was like driving up the street from the gym, and I seen one of my clients' cars right outside like a takeaway shop, like an Indian takeaway shop, and it's just like, and then they do the check, and I'm like, yeah, nutrition, 10 out of 10. Absolutely smashed.
You should have pulled over. I'm like, what the fuck's this? It's like literally like that video that was on about. You should have done that.
Nah, just go to his door later that night. Balaclava on and everything.
You're going to say a Physique Factory balaclava.
Yeah, at least it's branded. Keep everything on brand. Physique Factory baseball bat as well.
Get brand everything. Yeah, they won't even know it's us.
That was super random. Somebody just like rang the doorbell and was like, have you found any AirPods?
Oh, he's tracked him to your house.
Yeah, I was like, no, man. I don't know. So, unless someone put the AirPods in my
Is that
bag.
not AirPods in the background of your camera? But yeah, so where are you, Him? Are you in London? Yeah.
I am. So I live quite close to the big Westfields in London. So I've just bought a place there.
I have no idea.
I know the Westfields.
Yeah.
I know from City Airport to Third Space to Brick Lane. That's what I know in London.
So if we think Brick Lane, right? I'm like maybe on the Central Line, or maybe I don't know, 10, 15 stops away. It takes me about half an hour to get into Brick Lane.
It's not bad.
It's not bad, yeah. It's not bad.
It took me like a day to get home from there.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. You guys are dedicated, man. You literally like it's almost like flying overseas.
Yeah, some would call us dedicated. We get a lot of that, to be fair. I got my flight cancelled home on Sunday night, so it took me till Monday morning to get home from that. It was fucking.
Why did it get cancelled?
It was still in Nice apparently, the plane. So yeah, I don't know. They obviously needed it in Nice more than they needed it in London.
They compensate you for that from like traveling.
I've just claimed for it because I got I got an Uber from London City to Heathrow because that's where the next flight was from the next morning, and I had to pay for a hotel as well, and I got one of those Hilton hotels next to Heathrow, and I checked in. The woman's like, "Here's your welcome cookie." I'm like, "Will you fuck off? Do you know how hungry I am? It's been a long ass fucking day. The last thing I need is you putting a chocolate cookie in my fucking face."
Yeah, she doesn't know you're on prep, right?
No, but she should have known. She should have been following my socials.
I'm going to Oklahoma, right, to do mastery in July. So I'm like, I haven't traveled abroad since 2019. I think, will be even before that.
Wow, that'd be cool.
I'm like, oh shit.
It's a big investment.
What's that?
It's a big investment. That we're going to call you dedicated now.
Yeah, it's definitely. To be fair, the first time I did RTS, I actually flew from Singapore to do it.
Fair
yeah, so I did it like 3 times. Because it was like consecutive months, so I flew back and forth from Singapore to do RTS initially.
Yeah, that was with Michael,
yeah, that was that Urban Fitness when we did it. So yeah, it was a good experience, to be fair.
So is this your first time doing it with Tom next month?
Yeah, that's the first time. I've never met Tom, so
that'd be cool. That's something we were looking at, wasn't it?
It's weird with that because we've watched other videos. It feels like we already know Tom, even though we've never met him.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I think it's quite scary. You know, when people are really, really smart.
Yeah,
I think it's quite intimidating, right? So I don't know.
I feel like he already doesn't like me. You know that?
Yeah, and he's probably never met you, never seen your profile or anything like that.
But he fucking hates me.
Yeah.
Nah, like I was speaking to Michael about it, and he basically he's like, I kind of said like, do you think after doing this like you're ready to go out there sort of thing? And he's like, well, the more going out there, the more you'll get out of it sort of thing. So I don't think anyone's expecting a lot of you when you're out there sort of thing. But like again, the more you know, the more you're going to get out of it. So I'm sure you'll be in a fine position, Him.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We'll see.
Where are you flying to? Because it's quite difficult to fly there, isn't it? There's no direct flights.
I think, yeah, there's no direct. So I think I'm actually going to Houston first, and then I don't know. I'm not sure. I think you start at Houston, and then from Houston is there's another flight ticket to Oklahoma City.
Pray for him. Pray for him.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I feel like I'm probably going to be like the only Chinese person in like the whole of Oklahoma City, and I'm going to go there, what the fuck is that? Kind of thing.
It's not even the course you're nervous about. It's like the potential racial implications.
I've seen a Chinese person in their life, innit?
I wonder if they've seen a Scottish person.
Maybe they wouldn't understand it. They
and he just was like, "What the fuck's that coming out your mouth?
Why is he so pale?" I've been tanning up this afternoon for a good 20 minutes, so I should be pretty brown by now.
Got a nice red glow to you.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, let's get back to some valuable content. What were we talking about?
We're talking about the chocolate.
Yeah, that's what I meant to ask you. What's your favorite chocolate bar? What's your favorite biscuit or chocolate bar or things that you shouldn't eat but you do?
I'm not sure. In terms of chocolate, you know what? I'm really not sure.
You've
I
had,
do like
you've
an
had a
orange
week to
chocolate.
think about this.
I do like an orange chocolate. I think that's quite nice. But I think as I've got older, the level of sugar that I can handle is a little bit less, like the sweetness, you know.
Yeah.
So a darker chocolate is a little bit nicer for me now, but versus when I was younger, I wouldn't like. I'll be like, "Ugh, dark chocolate, you know."
Muscle atrophy and like lack of glycogen stores. I think that's what it is.
But I do like a white Twix. You know, you were saying that you didn't.
Oh, that's the one.
You like it?
I
Okay.
was saying this the other day to him. It was like, there's either white Twix or white Lion Bar.
Okay. I've not had a white Lion bar, but I think the white Twix is it's definitely up there.
Yeah, they are good.
I can't believe we gave you a week to think about that question and you came up with chocolate orange. I mean, I'm quite disappointed in myself.
Do you not like chocolate orange? Is chocolate orange a British thing? I feel like
it's not bad. I really like chocolate orange.
I feel like it is. It's a British thing, right?
I
don't
know.
think they have it elsewhere.
When you're in Oklahoma, try and buy one and find out.
I'm scared, with in case shit like that has like walnuts or something like that, and I get some sort of allergy and then I'm in hospital again.
Over there.
I'm actually really like I'm quite nervous around trying new foods now. Just because I had that reaction last year or 2 years ago when I was on prep, and it was pretty.
Why were you eating walnuts in prep?
I don't know. It was actually peak week, and it's just
people get weird in peak week here. You're just like, fuck it, I'll have some walnuts.
This happened to Jack Eagles last year. He had an anaphylactic shock when he was in Denmark. He ended up in hospital over there, and that was literally peak week. He was getting on stage in 2 days, and then that happened, and he doesn't have a clue why or what caused it.
Yeah, mine was definitely walnuts. So, like, I had it immediately. Like, I was hospital, like almost dead, kind of shit.
You can definitely develop an allergy. Like that's not that uncommon, is it?
Must have never had a walnut in my life, and I don't know. Yeah,
there's probably a good reason for that. There's not exactly the most exciting thing in the world.
I think they're in carrot cake, right? But I don't know. Maybe I haven't had a carrot cake.
What's your favorite cake?
Favorite cake? Do you know what? I'm a very vanilla person, so I really like just a plain Victoria sponge cake. Yeah, that is Mr. Kipling. They kill it off.
It's not really a cake as such, but I do like a millionaire slice. That's a bit of me.
I thought you were going to say Jaffa cake then. I was like, oh, it's controversial now.
Well, see, this is the thing. I don't like chocolate orange, but I do like a Jaffa cake. When we were on RTS at the weekend there, Jade came through with a box of Jaffa cakes, and they were kind of staring me right in the face. Actually, it wasn't very fair.
Jade's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah. Apart from the fact he was supporting City on Saturday night, that kind of put him down a little bit.
Was he a City supporter?
No, he's a Wolves supporter, but he was a City supporter on Saturday night, so I don't know.
That doesn't make sense. Why would you want them to win the treble when you literally every other fan except from the City fan wanted Inter to win?
Next week on the Physique Factory podcast, we'll have Jurade on to explain himself. He just kept saying, "Come on, City, come on, City."
Want to get people.
That's all I could hear in my ear. Guys, I'm actually going to have to go. I have another call, so I'm going to have to cut this one short. I don't know if I can leave this recording and leave you two, or I'll let you guys maybe just leave. Can I?
No, we'll just wrap it up here if you want to do that.
Yeah, cool. We'll wrap it up. But I feel like we never got a lot out of you today, him. We maybe need to have him part 2.
I think we just talked a lot of shit.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Okay, that's cool.
So you go to Oklahoma next month, yeah?
Yeah. Think about that. Yeah, exactly around a month. So I'll leave on the 13th or the 14th of July. Yeah.
Let's get you back on after that, because more out of my own interest, I just want to know how it went.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I'll take some.
Hopefully you survive it and there's no walnuts.
Yeah. I'll be like, I'll do the podcast out of prison somewhere. I didn't make it back, guys.
And now joining us on live satellite from Oklahoma City Prison. I don't know why I went to a prison, but Right, guys, we'll wrap it up with that. James, you usually wrap it up, don't you?
I think you do, don't you? I do the opening, you do the
All
closing.
right, sorry. Guys, thanks for listening to another episode of Physique Factory Podcast.